Hello. Nice to see you again. I'm Dr. Deborah Davis, and I'm here to tell you why it's so important that you pass this particular legislation, as Professor Lessig has said. If you look in your phone, you'll see that there are advisories there. We have a website called showthefineprint.org. That's where you can find all those advisories now. You received a letter today from the CTIA, and that letter said that the test protocols require the phones be held a certain distance from the body. That's in fact correct, but he didn't tell you why they require that. They require that because if the phone were in fact in the shirt pocket and in the pants pocket or in the bra, it does exceed the safe guidelines for exposure. It does exceed them, without any question. That is why the CTIA has agreed to the test protocols that we have now. Democracy, as you all know, rests on the freely given consent of the public to be governed. You cannot consent to be governed if you don't have basic information. The denial of access to this information about the safe ways to use phones is creating a huge public health problem. You've heard from Ellie Marks and her family of the tragedy that they've experienced. Unfortunately, there are many other tragedies like that unfolding today. Tiffany France is a very brave young woman, but she's also a very sick young woman who just got married and faces more treatment. Now, damage from cell phones can occur to sperm, and we know that from studies that have been done in test tubes that I spoke with you about before. Men who produce sperm, one set of sperm is put into one test tube, one in another. The test tube exposed to cell phone radiation, those sperm die 3 times faster and have 3 times more damage to their DNA. That's human sperm. Now, of course, sperm don't live in test tubes, but it's a very important finding. Other research has been done prenatally, exposing animals throughout their short pregnancies that rodents have of 3 weeks to cell phone radiation. And those offspring have smaller brains and more brain damage, and behavioral studies show more hyperactivity. We know that we have huge problems in our schools today. We have no way to know whether or not cell phones are contributing to them. But Professor Hugh Taylor, my colleague at Yale University Medical School, has joined with a number of leading obstetricians who have signed on to the UN statement as well to form the Baby Safe Project now to warn women about ways to use cell phones safely, just as your ordinance will do. It should be passed. I would say in closing, the world will little remember what any of us says here this evening. We all have words, we use them very quickly. But the world is watching what you do tonight. And you have an opportunity to do the right thing for yourselves, for your children, and your grandchildren. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying with this issue. And I want to thank Ellie Marks and Cindy Franklin and Joel Moskowitz, who have done the world a great service by keeping this issue alive, despite fighting a very profitable industry. Thank you very much.